I'm coming to Pennsylvania soon. I have a client that is in Pennsylvania, and we do a full like in-person VIP thing once a year. So I'll be in your area. Illinois, you're not too far from me. So I'm in Minnesota. So it's also humid here. Not too much, but oh man, when it does, it does. Michigan, again, kind of not too far. Well, good to meet everyone. A lot of new faces in here, which is always amazing. I'm always excited to see. Um, Vegas, coming to Vegas too. Hopefully, August, we'll see. Can't, it's a hard time to not have a good time in Vegas. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. I want to be respectful and honor everybody's time here. I appreciate everybody who's registered, and I'm excited for this training. So I've had my business for almost 11 years and host online events like this all the time. And I have never in the almost 11 years held the same training more than once. And this is the third time that I'm hosting this call because the psychics and healers and guides and intuitives that have attended have all just been like, oh my gosh, like that was the information you gave. I'm holding my first group reading. I'm so excited. So I was like, this one is one to repeat. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt that that's a long history of holding online events. I don't know what 12 times 11 or maybe even more is, but that many times that I have, and I've never hosted something more than once. So I'm really excited about this content. So I'm going to share a PowerPoint for everybody. I'm going to give it just a second because sometimes there's a little bit of a lag with my. Everybody see that okay? Good. Thank you. And then, Erin, do I need to pin my thing? Should I pin? Do I do pin or spotlight for everyone? I just don't remember. I never use PowerPoint, so.
No, sharing the screen makes that the focal.
Okay,
So,
perfect. So I don't need to do any of those things. I don't, that's what I want to be the focal. All right. So, I think the first thing, so, wait, I already went back. There we go. All right. So even though this read the room training, it says it's for gifted psychics. If you are a healer, if you are a coach, a spiritual coach, but if you're an intuitive, you do energy healing, doesn't really matter the label here. If you're here, most likely you felt called to be here. And I'm just again, I am genuinely mean it when I say I'm honored that you answered the call. I'm excited to go through this message with you, and I just think anybody who is in this space, anybody who is in this room, you were called because you're gifted. And I have as you will hear over the next hour or so with me, I have a very strong passion and conviction for gifted psychics and gifted healers and bringing them to the world. I believe that's my mission, and this training is to just help do that on a larger scale. Um, I say all the time, like psychics are everybody's best kept secret, and we need to not be everybody's best kept secret. We need to be brought as mainstream as possible. So hopefully this training will help us start to do that. Why is my slides not changing? There we go. All right. So just to make sure that this is going to be the good, right training for you, all of these kinds of things. So if you are again, I'm just going to probably for the rest of the call say, if you are a psychic and you are here and you are tired of that month to month scramble, where's your next client going to come from? Where's the next reading going to come from? This training is going to help you by having group readings be a way to give you repeatable revenue inside of your business. If you have just been feeling lately, which I know most of you are, and like put it in the chat if you have felt that too, you are feeling called to serve more people. Like you just can't continue to do the month to month, right? Um, or I'm sorry, the one to ones. Um, this training is going to help you with that. Also, just there's a lot of people that are here that you are ready to hold your first group. Like you've probably been doing a lot of one or maybe very small intimate groups. So this training is going to help you be able to either hold a group reading in an online space like this, and or B, in an in a in-person gallery style, face to face, heart to heart. People come, they buy tickets, they sit in chairs, and you get to actually read the room that way. Either way you want to host, this training is going to help give you some tools and support to do that. So just geez, very touchy today. So just a little bit, like why even listen to me? Like why trust me on this? So I have had over 20 years in online marketing, sales, business development, and coaching. Over 10 years just in the online space as a psychic business coach, and have gone through so many reiterations in this space that it, I would need that could be a whole other workshop, a whole other webinar, right? I have the Business Psychic podcast, which has over 10,000 downloads. I've served over 7,000 clients in my business over these last 11 years, and crossed over the threshold of 10,000 life and business readings. So that was amazing. And again, like I have a fierce passion and love of blending my background of sales, marketing, advertising with my gifts and using them specifically for psychics, for other people, because I see that we sometimes have, as psychics, the biggest challenge of all. We want to be in our gift, but we understand that we also have to, be in the online marketing space, which can be a real challenge for most psychics that I meet. Um, so here's kind of what we're going to go through just to give you a high level overview of our agenda. I'm going to go over the top 5 questions that most psychics have about hosting their group and gallery readings. And this is based off of most of the questions that I've received from those 7,000 clients over the last 11 years. And then I'm going to kind of break down what I feel after hosting, hundreds of these group gallery readings myself. What are kind of the 3 key pieces of hosting that gallery reading? And then my favorite part, which if there's anybody who knows me knows, my favorite is ask me anything. Literally ask me anything. If you want me to tap into your business, we'll do mini business readings at the end. So make sure if you can, stick around till then, because the last few calls that we've done for this, the Q&A session has been powerful. So, all right, so let's get into, just dive right in. Top 5 questions most psychics have about hosting these. And like I said, I mean, this is really why I decided to host this training, was because I kept getting so many questions repeatedly from my clients about how to do this, that I turned it into this training. So, and the first 5 questions we're going to get into, they're the basics, right? Who, how, what, where, when, why, all of those things. Who you have in your room, who you are doing the readings for, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in how you're able to access your gifts and what you're receiving for payment, all of those things. So we'll definitely talk a lot today about who and your audience. When and where, we'll talk about determining if you want to do that online, if you want to do it offline. We'll talk about best time of day, those kinds of things. How, we'll get into how to actually read the room. Who do you start with in the room? All of those kinds of things. We're going to kick off with the question of why and what if. And the what if one is what gets a lot of my clients, like, what if I get in there? What if I get to the front of the room and nothing happens? And I'll help address that to bring any anxiety or fear you have down around hosting an expansive group gallery like this. All right. I also should probably say this. I've had a lot of coffee today, so I'm jazzed, wired, excited. I am also not able to see chat in the moment. So if you have questions, please just start jotting them down for me. And I am going to answer absolutely every question that you could possibly have. I just don't see it along the way. So if you had a question, keep it and we'll get to it. And I'll kind of check in on chat every once in a while. But just so you know, I'm not ignoring you. I just am not able to see that. So, all right. So let's start with why. as with anything, you always want to start with your clear intentions on why you want to host a group gallery reading. And I personally just really feel that there is something incredibly powerful when you're hosting a gallery event like that, a group event. You are not just reading, you are truly leading the room. You're leading them to clarity, to guidance, to wisdom. You're awakening them. You're connecting them with something so much deeper. And to put yourself in a place of leadership like that, it's not for everybody. But if you're here, you probably felt the call that it is time that it's your time to start doing that. And so I really want to make sure that you connect that part to your why of why you're hosting. Um, I mean, groups are a great way to make a bigger impact, right? Not that we don't make an impact as psychics with our clients one on one. I think anybody here, if you're a psychic, can probably think of a time when you had a client and you changed their lives, right? Like that's what we do, that's what we're here to do. And so just imagine doing that in a group setting, right? It's 25 birds to one seed. So your time, your energy, the ripple effect of hosting a group reading is incredible. And it just, I can't stress enough that people from a group reading tell other people. Like there is something that happens in that room, right? Whether it's a Zoom room or whether it's an in-person face-to-face heart to heart room. They go and they tell people and they tell people and they want to be a part of it and they go to look you up. Opportunities that come from group events are incredible. Again, not that your one-on-one clients probably don't refer you, which I hope they are, but there is something that really the opportunities that come from groups are incredible. Um, and not just the referral opportunities, but it is also an opportunity for you to take these clients on a much deeper level with you, right? When they're in a group, they get a taste, they get a sample. And once they've had that, like you have now become their, like, they want that again. They want to feel that again. They want to feel those truth bumps. They want those tears. They want the expansion and the activation that comes from you and your gift. And so that can lead to other one-on-ones. It can lead to group, like smaller group, maybe in-home group, maybe other group readings, people asking you to come and speak at workshops, events, who knows, right? But there is something really profound that happens when you put yourself at the front on the stage and in your gift to lead a room. And I can honestly say that after doing this for so long, I can't think of a lot of a better feeling than what comes when that room is done and you've closed it and you've impacted. Oh my gosh, like what it does for your confidence. I mean, I have left those rooms in awe and tears, just so incredibly grateful that I'm able to use that gift in that capacity. So there's no doubt in my mind or in my heart for you, you're going to feel the same way in that space. It will change you as much as it will change the people in your space. Um, and I just want to say, like, again, I will say this till I'm probably blue in the face today. If you're here, you were called to do this. It's now your turn to start hosting these groups. Okay, so how do you read a room? This question comes, let's get into the how you read a room. I want to be gentle when I say this, that sometimes, especially like your first time doing a group reading, two is through, right? You kind of just have to have that trust and that faith, get at the front of the room and start reading, right? It's kind of like for anybody who has kids here, right? Like when you don't really know what it's like until you have kids, like you think you can prepare, but until you're actually in that space, there's something that just happens. Like you do have to kind of go through it in order to understand it. But what I can also give you are some tips and tools on how to make that first time or even your second time or even bigger groups a little bit easier. Um, and I do really truly believe that the key component is trust, right? It is trust in yourself. It is trust in your gifts, and it's trust that your guides, the universe, spirit, angels, whatever kind of label works for you, is never going to let you fall. I will never forget the very first time on my way to my very first group reading. I was walking out through my garage to get into my car, and I was terrified to the point I almost wanted to cancel. And this was an in-home group reading. So I think there was like 15 people though, right? So like right out the gate. And I'd only been doing psychic mediumship for a couple months. I was brand new to it and took on a group reading right away. And you know me, you're not going to be surprised by that. And as I was walking to my car thinking about canceling, I heard like my guides come in, and these exact words came to me, which were, "We will never let you fall." And I even just now, I get truth bumps from it. I still find comfort in that, knowing my gift is never going to not show up for me when I show up to be in my gift. And I'm going to transfer that to you in this moment as well. You are never going to get in the front of a room to do a group reading and everything goes blank. You're never going to put yourself in a place and space where you're going to be channeling, delivering messages, and your guides and your angels and spirit lets you fall. It is not going to happen, not when you let your gift lead. And so I think that being the foundation of all of the work that you do, whether it's in a group, whether it's one-on-one, no matter what, is going to help your psychic gifts expand so much. Some of the other questions, so that I sometimes get around the how is who actually, right? Like, who do you start with in a group reading? Like, how are you going to know who to start with? And so I want to give you a couple of tips there on that because for some reason that question comes up a lot. So, number one is you can choose what feels most comfortable for you. You can, excuse me, even ask, who here is like ready, and you can kind of get people to raise their hands and just allow yourself to be kind of drawn to maybe it's the first person's hand up, or maybe just somebody kind of, you just are naturally kind of called to somebody, right? So it's perfectly okay to ask for hands of who wants a reading in a group setting. The other thing that you can do, and I did this kind of more in the beginning, was I would before a reading say, okay, universe, give me a sign of who I'm supposed to start with, right? And the first thing that I had come to me when I did this was I saw somebody in a red shirt. And I was like, okay, that's my sign now from spirit, who I need to start with. And that just brought my anxiety down a little bit about where to start. Because here's what I know. Once you start, you just don't stop. It will like it just flows. It goes to the next person. But the starting point always seems to be a sticking point for a lot of psychics. And that naturally kicks up the fear of, what if I'm wrong? What if I start? What if nothing comes through? That's not, I really need you to trust and believe in yourself that is just not going to happen. I've just learned also that the flow will naturally happen. You do, I believe, need to know how to keep your audience engaged. You want to make sure that you're speaking loudly, clearly, have some of those things figured out. If it's a in-person experience, the acoustics absolutely matter. Do you need a microphone? You will want to figure those things out ahead of time. Same thing if you're going to host something online. You want to make like I have my AirPods in, right? So I know that if this sounds better than, other loose microphones when I'm holding a group like this. So you want to make sure that everybody who is in the room is engaged, is listening, is leaning in. And the way to do that, I had somebody in the last one say, I don't want to be seen as an entertainer. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. I don't even get me started on the for entertainment purposes, bullshit. We are way more than entertainment purposes. But what I do want you to think about in these settings is being a spiritual celebrity in a way, right? You need to work your room, engage your room, not necessarily entertain them, but engage them, keep them captivated. And so the more that you can kind of learn to do that and feel comfortable doing that, the better that experience is going to be. And your next one is going to sell tickets or have attendance like crazy just from the um, let's see, any other notes I had on that? The other thing that I was going to say to remember about the how in this is most likely if you're going to do a group reading, can everybody hear me okay? I just had,
Yep.
okay. I didn't know it, but like I guess I hit my AirPod in a way that it muted me for a second. So I wanted to make sure. The other thing I think to remember about the how in this setting, right, is if you are hosting a group, you've probably done one-on-ones. You're probably not just like, oh, I'm going to do a group reading before you do individual reading. So, um, with that being said, what you have to remember is you're still doing individual readings just in a group space where everybody can watch, right? So that's that's the part that can feel uncomfortable or get a little nerve-wracking, right? Is that everybody is you're on display for everybody. But the other thing is too, you might have a message for the entire group. You might have a message for the entire collective, and then get into, the individual one-on-ones. You don't have to do that, but if you can, that also is a great way. One of the things that I'll say, and you'll probably even hear me say it in here, and I would definitely jot this down to use in the future, is this is for you and this is for everyone, right? And I'm sure each of you can kind of think about a time that you've done a reading, you've had a client where a message came through you and to you for them. And it was so good that you were like, oh my gosh, that was for me too, right? And so when you keep saying kind of things like that throughout your group reading, it makes people kind of pay attention and lean in a little bit more because they want to know what is everybody wants to know what's in it, what's for them too. So just a side note, little tip for honestly, anytime you're doing something in a group setting like that. Okay, the when and where. Um, so I think number one is we are in a phenomenal time and place where you can do things online and you can do things in person. And I would actually strongly encourage everybody here, if you're thinking about doing group readings, to try it both ways. It doesn't, that's the glorious thing about Zoom, right? Is it doesn't matter where you are, I'm still able to do a reading for you. I have clients in Thailand for crying out loud, right? So my gift is just as accurate and just as strong for her when we do our Zoom sessions as it is if she was sitting in my office with me. And the same thing is for you too, right? So, and the same thing is whether it's a group Zoom or whether it's a face to face and heart to heart group that way too. So, that is number one for you to decide is how you want to host that. Um, some of the benefits, of course, with online, you don't have much overhead. You probably maybe need to invest in upgrading Zoom so that you can host multiple people and you don't get cut off. I think there's like a time cutoff or something if you don't have the pro version. It gives you freedom, flexibility. You can sit from, your home or where you most feel comfortable. That might be a great first way for you to try a group reading. If you do the in person, right, there's of course probably cost of space, the logistics, chairs, seating, the acoustics, like we were kind of talking about, the sound. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can go into finding the right venue, parking, all of those things. Those make a difference in the success of your group reading for sure. And then the other thing is, which is different from what I would call a gallery reading. To me, that's where you rent a space, people buy tickets or are gifted tickets and they kind of come and they sit, right? Like Teresa Caputo, Long Island, John Edwards, that kind of thing. It's to do in-home group readings, which I love. Those are actually like some of my favorite readings I've ever done, which is, a group of maybe 10, 15 people, friends, family, all pitch in, for the cost of the group reading, come together for about 90 minutes, 2 hours, kind of sit in a horseshoe shape. I sit in the middle and I just go around the room and give individual messages and readings. And those are incredibly powerful as well. So you could kind of pick and choose from all three of those to really, kind of have a group setting for yourself. Couple tips on this. Again, after doing it so long, uh, in my opinion, my pintuition on this one is Thursday night. Thursday nights tend to be one of the best nights, the best participation. Um, Anywhere from like a 6 to 8 window. I think 7 to 9 gets a little late. So 6 p.m., people are off work. That 6 to 8 window on a Thursday night, man, you can really get, I think, the most attendance at that time. Um, the other thing that comes from that, and let me tell you why. I mean, think about people have their weekends, kids sports, who knows, right? Like family functions, graduations, this time of year, all kinds of different things, right? So weekends are a little bit more on the difficult side that I found. Thursday nights is just a sweet spot. So let me save you that time and energy and really try to push those Thursday night ones. Um, what was the other thing I was going to say on that? I don't remember now. No, I don't remember. But then people go to work on Friday and they tell people, "Oh my gosh, last night I did this like group reading. It was just amazing." They tell people, and by Friday afternoon, I always 100% of the time would have at minimum one email in my inbox that said, "I heard you did a group reading last night for my friend Jen. I want to schedule one," or "I want to book a one-on-one with you. I was at your group reading last night," or insert whatever, at minimum one of those. So Thursday nights, again, can't, that's, those are the tips on why to do that. Um, and then I just wanted to add one more thing on here, which is charging, because I've kind of gone back and forth a couple different times here saying charge or don't charge. Um, and that to me really depends on your going back to your why. Sorry, there's like, I have fresh flowers in here and a big spider just crawled out of them at my wall. It's distracting. um, it'll go away. It'll be fine. So I'm not looking at anything else. I'm looking at this black spider crawling across my wall from my flowers from my garden. Shit, that's all right. Um, so going back to your why, what is your intention, right, from this event? Now, if your intention is to just read the room and create income from your group reading, fantastic. If it is to have it be lower cost, but then invite them to work with you in a one-on-one capacity, so be it. That could be free or it could be low cost. Knowing your intention is to maybe capture email addresses, look for longer term opportunities. That's why I say start with why, because then that helps you know um, the intentions and what you're going to do, and if you want to are going to charge from it. So hopefully that makes sense on that one. Let's see. What if? So this is also the one that I get a lot. What if nothing comes through? What if you get there and um, you feel like you're falling flat on your face? People aren't into it. It's just not flowing. What if? Number one, I've never known anybody that has actually happened to. Is it the most common fear? Absolutely. And yet it's the most irrational fear because it just doesn't happen. And again, going back and remembering that you are still doing those individual one-on-ones. It's just that a group is there to watch, right? And I also think anytime that you feel like something is slipping, you're getting distracted, you're aware that maybe people are restless or your gift isn't coming on as strong as you want it to, get present. Just remember, focus in on your one person that you're going to read for. Learn to drown out the noise of everybody around you. And when you lock back into your gift and disconnect from the fear and the distraction, your gift is going to come through and everybody's going to be pulled right back in almost instantly. So What if I'm wrong? I mean, I think that's another one, right? Not just what if nothing comes through, but what if you start bringing forward messages and somebody's like, no, I don't know what that means. I don't know who Grandpa Frank is with this cigar, right? Could that happen? Absolutely. And you're not wrong. It is just probably for somebody else in the room. And that is your role as the host of the group to give some explanation at the beginning of the group of like, if I start to give somebody a message and it's not resonating with them, but you know that message is for you, please don't hesitate to raise your hand. Spirit doesn't just stop me and say, hey, it's actually for, the guy in the back in the with the cowboy hat on. It doesn't usually typically work like that in a group, right? So don't be afraid to give the people that you're doing the reading for some direction on what to do if they feel like that message is for them, if it's not for the person you're doing the reading to. And making that shift can change the entire energy of that entire group reading. So don't hesitate to do that. Um, and I think above all, right? Like psychic etiquette is very real. You're going to, of course, deliver these messages in a strong, bold, but positive and powerful way in a group like that. But have psychic etiquette and filters. Of course, you're not going to say something like, oh, I feel like, I see a divorce coming your way and she's sitting next to her husband. I hope you're not doing that in a group setting, right? You want to bring things that are, I don't know for how many of you in here consider yourself a medium too. But a lot of times those group gallery readings are a lot around mediumship as well. It's not always just the psychic thing. So, uh, let's see. Next, who is going to attend and who is in your room is just as important as anything. In my opinion, you really want to have a group reading that is full of ideal clients, people that you would want to do a one-on-one for. And again, always going back to your intention of like why you're hosting this, right? Custom curating your room with the who is there is going to set you up for so much success. Um, I I just really think, for example, this room, right? Like I know everybody here is my ideal audience, right? I work with psychics, and I really believe, especially if you're in the online marketing space, which I know you all are, because most likely you came in from a Facebook ad, is the biggest shift that I am sensing and seeing out there right now is not how to, but who to. And so I really want you each to be thinking about who is the ideal person that you want in your group reading. And then I think this is so important that we talk about this, which is people have had enough reels. They are ready for you to be real. And a group can do this more than anything else. It pulls people together. Human beings want to belong. And in a setting like this, a group reading like this, man, you are not a bot. You're not ChatGPT. You are not AI generated anything. You are real and you are raw and you are in your gift and you are giving them a human experience that nothing AI could ever give them. And we are all craving experiences right now that are engaging, interactive, and are real. And now is, in my opinion, a better time than ever to start hosting these types of experiences where you are bringing people together to feel something real. Okay, I'm going to take just a hot second and read before I get into these things and chat. See what's in the chat here. Let's see. In Vegas, people with psychic arts license cannot go to homes to do readings. What? Well, I mean, Not that I'm like telling you to break the law by any means, but how in the hell are people, how could they even monitor something like that? That's insane. I'd be going to I would be going to jail. I'm not a good rule follower. Humor is really important. That's a great point, Rusty. It is important. And I think if, the times that I've held a group reading, um, that kind of naturally comes forward. And there's also, right, like sometimes, so I'm a medium, and a lot of times when I'm channeling, things will come forward, like the personality of spirit that I'll kind of like share, and I'll be like, I mean, I remember one time I was like, girl, your grandpa, I am not kidding you, is like hitting on me right now. And she was like, oh my God, he was such a flirt, right? So like everybody's laughing because like, so there that does when people do laugh and enjoy, you want it. And there's a line between entertaining and just bringing people enjoyment, right? Like your group reading they should enjoy it. They should leave going, that was like way better than any money I've spent on, what, $50 to probably go to a movie, $50 to go to a gallery reading. They're going to have just a better, most likely, experience than any of the movies I've seen lately, specifically. All right, let's get into the three most important parts of the group reading. Okay, so again, audience, who is in your room matters. Um, you can do this very much by intention and also though by invitation. I cannot stress enough, like knowing who is in the room and how important that is. Know your people and know who you're meant to serve beyond this reading, right? Like I have a hard time believing anybody here is just like, yep, I just want to host groups and that's it. No, you probably want to take the people that have a profound experience with you in that group. Maybe you take them into, private psychic coaching with you or other workshops, right? Like you want to take them beyond. I really always think of my groups like this as like the precursor to like the deeper, longer term work. Um, the other thing that I really want to say with this is, having a group, hosting a group, that is a phenomenal way to start growing an email list. And if you are in this room with me right now and you are not growing an email list for your psychic business, we got to change that. Like that is one of the most integral pieces, in my opinion, to success is having a way to communicate with your clients that is not dependent on you just posting to social media, right? So this can really help you start building a longer term audience as well through, email marketing or something along those lines. Next, an offer. What do I mean by an offer? Is having something that is longer term, higher transformation that can allow you to not just be selling back to back one off readings all of the time, which can what? Get exhausted. How many of you here have only been really focused on selling those one on one readings for, yeah, most of the people that have been coming to these read the room trainings, some of them have been in business for 30 years. They've been doing one on one readings for 30 years and they are exhausted. They are tired of just selling back to back readings like that. And I don't blame them. That's a long time. So, having a group reading that you can then invite people with an offer, whether that be a one on one 6 month package, or maybe it's a series of workshops you sell them, or insert kind of whatever. As a psychic, I truly believe you have the ability to take your clients far beyond the reading. And these group settings are such a great way to kick off those longer term, higher ticket offers and clients. They really are. Let's see. I haven't even started my business and I know my primary interest is long-term clients. Yeah, if you haven't started your business, Rusty, but I don't know if you're doing readings yet, but there is nothing that says you have to start off doing just one-on-one readings. You absolutely could right out the gate say, hey, this is how I work with my clients. 3 months. I'll tell you, after the first probably 6 months, maybe I was doing readings. It was the one-offs, right? It was just a, 1 hour reading, one and done, right? Let's call them one and done. And then something really interesting started happening, right? Like, I'll show you. So for example, I save all of my reading sheets. I don't know who this was, but this was a long time ago. I found this box this is what I do before all of my readings. Um, I get my downloads of the reading, everything that I feel like I'm going to cover. And then during the reading, I go kind of line by line. Okay, so like for this one, I saw that she was whatever. So as the things happen, and if they're accurate during the reading, then I highlight them, right? So anyway, why am I telling you this? Because so many of these things on here, I would say to them, and then like I give them all of these things to change, expand, shift, transform in their lives. I give them like all of this stuff, and then I'm like, bye, see you, and they're just off on their own. When you are able to then say, I can support you, Rusty, with all of these things over the next 3 months together. We're going to go line by line together. I am going to be your guide through it. I'm going to help you access your own intuition. And over the course of 3 months, these things that we've highlighted here are going to be a highlight of your life, right? I don't know, something like that, right? That is when true transformation, and that is when psychics are going to stop being seen just as that, right? As a freaking parlor trick. Oh, pisses me off that Vegas has that. Are you kidding me? Like, don't you now? Great, thank you for whoever brought that forward. Now I have to go fight in Vegas. Adding to the list. Adding to the list. All right, next up, the invitation. I am really excited for our Q&A coming up here because I have a feeling it's going to be really good. Okay, the invitation, right? And this is where I'm going to call each and every single one of you up as psychics. You have to start feeling good about sales. You have to start feeling good about making money from bringing your gift to the world and the price tag that you put on that. There is no shame in that. There is no guilt in that. There is no, well, I'm gifted, so I need to do that for free. Bullshit. In fact, I actually call that completely out to the opposite. The gifts that we have, the transformation we provide, the clarity we can bring to people, it is way stronger the majority of the time than any other Western medicine doctor, than any therapist, than, oh my goodness, like we deserve to be paid at our greatest level and from doing the good that we do in this world. And at the end of an event, that is the way that you do it. At the end of a group reading, being able to say, this is how we can work together, being able to give an invitation for people to continue working with you, it will change not only their lives when they say yes, it will start to change yours when they say yes also. And that is the time to do it, when people are there, they're present, they're ready, they're open. So don't be intimidated to make an offer, to have an offer that you give in an invitation for people to work with you. So those are the three. Your audience, these are the three most important: your audience, your offer, and your invitation. Okay. But here's the truth. This is where we got to get into this a little bit deeper. How are you going to get the people to attend? Right? Look around this room. I don't know how many people are in here, anywhere between probably 20 and 25 people at any given moment, people coming and going. Right? How did I get people in here? How did I get people to my last group reading? How do I get people to online group readings, in-person group readings? Because I bet each of you are like, okay, Amber, You talked me into it. I'm ready to read a room. At least I hope that you're feeling that way. You should be feeling that way. But this is the part of the online marketing space. This is a part of sales. This is a part of advertising that it's only fair that you know the truth behind. And that is truly, in order to read the room, you have to fill it, right? And this is just nobody is talking about this in the online marketing space. Um, in fact, I don't think that there's a lot of transparency in what it truly takes to bring in that audience. And so I want to share that with you because most likely you're probably seeing stuff like this in your Facebook feed, right? And I mean, no disrespect to any of these marketers. Like, I've sold stuff like this in my past. But something has really started to shift when it comes to online marketing, when it comes to social media marketing. Um, I just psychically see this is going to continue. This is going to continue. I started seeing this trend with my private coaching clients, right? Like we would spend all of this time on their business. We would build them a website. We would get them amazing. We would talk about all their content they're going to create. We would talk about their event they're going to host. I would get my clients all of this like magic for their business. And then at the end of it, they would go out to Facebook, Instagram, they would start posting and crickets, quiet. And and instead they would start to see things like this. And so this is what I truly, truly want you to know. If you are not getting the audience that you need, it is not your message, not your energy. It's not that you aren't aligned. It's not that the universe is mad at you. It's not karma from a past life. It is not your mindset. It is not your marketing, even most likely. Not your brand. It's not that you need a better website. It's not that you need SEO. It's not any of those things. Okay. Definitely not that your chakras are out of balance. And it's not that you need a course, a program, or another certification. If you are here right now and you are going out there and you are thinking that you need the next certification, I am putting you on a certification pause until you hear me out on this. It is not any of those things. It is truly that you just need an ideal audience to sell to. That is it. You need an audience. And to get that organically right now is almost virtually impossible in this way, right? I don't know. How many of you in the chat type, like, are you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, right? Like, those are pretty much the most common 4 social media platforms that we got going out. So, those are the ones that I'm going to talk about for you here, just so you can see there is nothing wrong with you, not a damn thing wrong with you. This system was just not set up for you. That's all. The online marketing system is really does a disadvantage, especially if you are spiritually gifted. So here's the top 4, right? And these are probably the ways that you could go and organically try to fill a room, right? On these 4 places. You could go live, which is hands down the best way to get any type of interaction in social media. Go live, right? Now, with the exception of going live, let's say you're going to do a written post, which most people do. Most people feel most comfortable with a written post to social media, or you're going to, let's say, even create a reel, right? So if you go to Facebook right now and you post something, only 3% of your followers are going to see it. So for example, you have, let's do basic math here, right? You have 100 followers, 3 people are going to see it. Instagram, you have 100 followers, 10 people are going to see it. YouTube, 15 people. TikTok, up to 40 people, right? TikTok's actually your best probably platform right now. I love it. But you got to do video. You got to do a lot of video content. Most psychics don't want to do a lot of video. They don't want to create a lot of content. They don't want to be posting 2-3 times a day, right? So that is the part that nobody is really talking about, right? is that you go, like I'll use my example of my client, right? We created an amazing piece of content for her. She goes, she posts it to Facebook, nothing, crickets. Because just because 3 people see it doesn't mean 3 people like it, engage with it, buy from her. It means Facebook put it in front of 3 of her followers. That's it. And so all of these ways, right, are the ways that people are taught to to fill their room. Start a podcast. Great. Who's going to listen to your podcast? Because you still have to market that podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, right? So nobody again is seeing that you've started a podcast. Create a lead magnet. Great. You're still going to have to promote it. You still have to get the leads from most likely social media, which is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. And so that is the biggest problem that nobody is addressing. It is the biggest elephant in the online marketing room. And everybody is selling you something different. Everybody is telling you it's your message, it's your marketing, it's all of those things, right? That we just went through on this list. How many of you have heard it's one of these things and that's why your business isn't doing well? And I'm here to tell you it's none of those things. It is that nobody is seeing what you are creating and what you are doing in your business. So I see this, especially for psychics, right? Is they are struggling. They finally get the courage, the energy, the creativity to create some online marketing and put out a post on Instagram, right? To get crickets, to get one like, one heart. And then you think you're doing something wrong. And that is not true. But I think then it comes to, is this what you enjoy doing? I am grateful. I love marketing. I love sales as much as I love my gift. And to blend the two, man, like I'm incredibly grateful for that. But most of the psychics that I know, healers, intuitives, they don't enjoy the online marketing. They don't want to be creating content all day. They don't want to be sending emails. They want to be in their gift. They want to be reading rooms. They want to be impacting. They want to be spiritual psychic life coaching, right? And I just, I really, when you think about it, right, you've got to be doing some of these things. And so, okay, maybe you don't want to go live. Maybe you're just like, absolutely not. I'm not going live, Amber. Like, you're crazy if you ever think I'm going to do that. Okay, you don't have to go live, but then you need to create reels. Then you have to replace it with something. Okay, well, I don't want to create reels either. Okay, well, then we need to, then you need to blog and you need to be posting that blog, 2 to 3 times a day to all these places, right? So that is just the actual nature of where we are at in this online marketing space to generate leads. What if I do it for you? That is the problem, right? Is that most psychics don't want to do this. They don't enjoy it. If you do, fantastic. Like that's amazing. But my gift and my mission is to truly help you be in your gift. And I believe that you should be in boardrooms. I believe you should be in school. I believe you should be in hospital. I believe you should be in freaking Las Vegas if you want to be in Las Vegas, proud. I believe you should be in freaking the White House. That is what I believe about psychics. And you should not be paid per freaking minute. You should not just be paid per session. And we are not for entertainment purposes only. And we are the gifted, right? We are the elite. We are the gifted. And I just really strongly believe and feel, if you can't feel that passion, like I'm going to be shocked that it's yours. It is just our time, right? And the online space that we have the opportunity to do this is not setting anybody up for success. And I'm watching psychics try so hard and get nothing. They get crickets. And this is why. Because the world needs the Gifted Psychics Agency. And you need a done for you, not how to. You don't need another course, another program, a membership. You don't need to be a part of a psychics hotline. That's not what you need. You need leads for light workers. You need an audience. You need to know that when you turn your Zoom room on, there are going to be people there that you can impact with your gift. You need to be spending more time as a psychic, less time as a marketer. That is the truth. And this system is not set, the system that is there for you, the organic system, is most likely just not going to do it for you. And I saw this as a need more like just such a need. So through the Gifted Psychics agency, I take away the need for you to have a website. I take away the need for you to have branding, a copywriter, monthly hosting, any of those things. You get a booking page with us where people can find, they can book you, they can see your specialties, your services. I do the advertising for you. I bring the leads to you. I bring them to the Gifted Psychic Network, which is where you are hosted and you are featured as a gifted advisor. This is where you are going to host group readings, healings, workshops. Not required if you're not ready, but this is where I bring people so that they can start to get to know you. They can buy from you. I teach you how to have an offer and make an invitation so that you're not just selling those individual back to back readings all the time, exhausting yourself, and most likely probably not being paid what you should be and deserve to be paid. And then the third thing is this is where this is the game changer in all of this is that I am running a robust ad strategy to bring in people to fill the room for you. So I'm bringing people onto not only just the Gifted Psychics newsletter where I'm featuring you as a gifted advisor, but I'm also featuring your event. I'm also driving traffic directly to those events so that people can register and they can come. And this is the part that is missing. That nothing else, there's nothing else like this, right? Like, sure, you could go over to Keen or California Psychics, right? But that's a paid per minute. They're not doing anything to actually promote you. These events, these audience activation events, are the number one way for you to grow your business, for you to have expansion, for you to be in your gift, for you to be able to read the room. This is the key component that is most likely probably not happening currently in your business and is going to be needed in order for you to get leads into your business or Facebook ads. And I just did a little bit of a breakdown. I went out to some of the most common kind of places, right? So, and this is for you whether you are just starting your business or whether you are thinking about starting a business or you have been a gifted psychic already for 30 plus years. It doesn't matter. These numbers are true and across the board. If you're going to have a website, you have the cost of the domain and hosting. If you're going to do email marketing, there's a monthly cost to have that. Using Canva Pro to be able to create social media graphics, lead pages, Kajabi, ClickFunnels, any of those systems to be able to build some funnels to be able to get people in to work with you. If you're lucky, you can, invest in an admin or a tech or a virtual assistant, but that can cost anywhere from, $200 a month plus. Copywriter or content writer, if you're creating a website, you might not feel confident enough in your own copy. You might need to hire somebody. I went off of one of my clients who's a copywriter. She charges $2,500 just for the copy on a website, not to mention the actual design, the building, the branding, and then Facebook ads. Good. Like if you are going to try to attempt to do Facebook ads on your own, I wish you so much success with it. The Facebook ads manager changes daily. It is a beast, not to mention the budget then that you have to have on top of understanding Facebook or maybe having a Facebook ads manager. Like it is wild. Anybody who knows has ever priced something like that out knows. And then just the cost of maybe even hosting the event. And I just put a star by that because that's a little bit different. And I think some of the old terminology was you need to spend money to make money. No, that is not true. You need to invest money to grow your business. And these are some very common, these are the most common kind of basic investments that I mean, this is kind of, in my opinion, bare minimum what is kind of needed right now to have an online psychic business. Now, you might have in-person opportunities, right? Like you might have local metaphysical shops or that kind of thing that you get some business from. That's very different. And you might be going to like psychic fairs and getting some business, but those also have a cost too, just to attend those. So that doesn't even take into consideration, that. So this is what you get if you decide to let me do the marketing and advertising for you. So number one, you're going to get that professional booking page, which is so gorgeous. Erin, my assistant here, is building those, and they are just beautiful and makes it so easy for people to click and book with you. You are getting done for you lead generation via paid ads. Every single day, there are ads that are being run to the Gifted Psychic Network, bringing in people onto that newsletter, bringing people to your events that are hosted there. In addition, you get 2 live support calls with me every month in a group setting. These group calls are where we get into all of it. Everything you could possibly think about having a business, your offers, your invitations, your marketing, because there are going to be things that you might still want to go do on your own, even though you're part of the agency. If you want to do online marketing still for yourself, in addition, fantastic. Those live support calls give you every type of coaching, guidance, channeling that you could possibly need to grow your business. And then we have 2 onboarding success calls every month. These onboarding calls are for you to come and ask specific things like, if you're a part of the agency, right? So they could be about your one-page booking. It could be about your scheduling system. It could be there's tech support. So Erin comes to those calls to offer you tech and guidance support during those calls. So you get a built-in VA on those onboarding success calls. In addition, I've created a huge Google Drive of call to action content, which means that call to action content is pre-done posts, social media posts, Instagram, Facebook, every type of post you could possibly think of. You get to copy it and paste it right over to social media. So no more overthinking your own marketing if you want to continue to do your own marketing. Could be how to fill a group reading, how to sell individual readings, whether you're an Akashic Records reader, whether you're human design, whether you're a psychic, whether you're a medium, there is content in there to support you selling out in the online marketing space. And then this one I'm really excited about. We haven't even had our first one yet, but we are having a monthly networking call where everybody can kind of come and get to know the other psychics that are inside of the agency. And here's why I'm doing this. And if anybody here has ever been to a psychic fair, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this, right? You go to a psychic fair and what happens? To me, it feels competitive. It feels icky. Everybody's trying to sell these 15, 20-minute readings for $20. It's competitive. It's our industry has not always been a collaborative space. It's been a competitive space. And I want to eliminate that. I want you all working together to create our own economy together, right? And what that means is in these networking calls, everybody's going to have a chance to talk a little bit about their specialty, right? Because that is the thing that I am seeing with all of these gifted psychics that have joined the agency. Everybody is so damn unique. It is just amazing, right? So for example, I have somebody who her specialty, she loves animal communication, connecting people with their pets that have passed, as well as if their pet currently is struggling, right? So with that being said, what if that's not my specialty? That's for sure. If somebody could help me with Lacey Lou, I'm all in. She's a pain in the ass sometimes. It's my golden doodle. So I want to be able to have her meet you so that you and her can refer business back and forth, right? That's the type of that's networking. It's referral, it's connection, it's collaboration opportunity. And so I'm really excited about that. So those are all the things that you get when just as normal part of being a part of the agency. And then some bonuses right now for joining because you're live and attended the Read the Room training, which is number one, how to host an audience activation event that converts. So that's where you're going to be able to really learn how at the end of a group reading to give that invitation for people to work with you. What should you call it? How do you cover it? so much more than it's just an expanded version of today, very much so. Bonus number two, offer magic, how to create your high transformation ticket package. I hope if and you take away anything from this, please start to give higher ticket offers. Go beyond the reading with your clients, have something. And if you don't know how to do that, that's fine. Inside, you're going to get offer magic, which is how to create that high transformation ticket package. And then bonus number three, the invitation, how to feel confident and close those sales from that. How to be able to say, I would love the opportunity to work with you. Here's the way we can do it. So all three of those bonuses tie in those three things that are truly the most important part of a group reading too. So, and then live attendance bonus, and this is for everybody that joins from the Read the Room training, which is we're going to have a private one-on-one call where I can look at your business, I can understand your gifts, your talents, your abilities, and help you either A, put together that offer and make the invitation. B, look at what are some maybe other ways. Maybe it's a group program for you. Maybe it's something along those lines, but helping you start to make more income from your gift because again, it's it's time. Okay, founding gifted advisors. That would be you. We are going live next week. The entire agency, you have the opportunity to go in for 6 months or for 12 months. Your choice. You can pay in full if you do 6 months for $9.99, or you can set up a payment plan and it's just $199 for 6 months. And that gives you everything that is included here. It gives you the bonuses, the private reading, it gives you the one-page booking site, it gives you 2 live coaching calls every single month, it gives you 2 onboarding calls every single month, it gives you that networking call every single. I mean, that's 5 calls alone right there. Plus, it gives you right now a private business reading with me. And I truly believe that this agency is going to grow and expand and bring psychics to the world in a way that they have never been seen before. You are not paid per minute through this site. We create a way for you, for people to book with you at your rates. I don't set the rate. I don't take a percentage of what you generate in sales. Nothing like that. It is a very unique opportunity. And I truly feel this is what psychics need more than ever before. Because I've seen it. I see what is happening out there, and I really want to be able to help you bring your gifts to the world. All right, Q&A. This is literally my favorite part of all of this. So do not hesitate to raise your hand if you want to talk about the agency, if you want to talk about your business, if you want to talk about marketing, any of those things. Now is the time. Would love to support you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen actually so I can come back to see all of your faces. All right, let's dive in here. Look at those hands going up. Love it. How do I say it? Is it Stacia? Stacia? Stacia?
It's Stacia.
Stacia.
Yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And thank you very much for today. I got a lot of really great information, stuff that I knew, but also stuff that, I was not confident on. And so I had a question about the agency. I was asking Erin here. So is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? I thought I heard
You can
both.
choose. Yep, you can choose. I think that slide didn't show the 12 months. It is 6 or 12 months, your choice.
Okay, and so what is the 12-month cost?
It's the same. It's $199, either $199 a month or like $19.98 if you pay in full. So there is a little bit of a discount if you pay in full for sure. And then you get, I believe you get 2 readings with me to use throughout the year. So everything basically doubles for you except the cost.
Okay. And then when do you look at or when would you say there's the ROI? So, I pay you up front or whatever, and are we looking at we start booking 3 months?
Yeah. No,
No, when does
so
benefits start coming in, do you anticipate?
that's a great question. So the first thing that happens is we want to so the primary focus of this is that you are hosting an online event like you're experiencing here, or a group reading, or you're doing a healing or a training or a workshop or a masterclass, right? Kind of insert any of those across the board. And what I do is I run the ad strategy is to run people to that for you, as well as the other gifted advisors, all of their events, right? So that's what makes this unique. That's what makes the agency different, right? Is I'm not just bringing all the traffic to so we're talking, you would join the agency, but the Gifted Psychics Network, right? That's where our clients are going to come. They're coming to find the directory. There's a directory where they can search for psychics. That's where they can see the events. That's where they can get on the Gifted Messages newsletter. That's how that part works for them as the client. Now, you as the gifted advisor, my suggestion is that everybody is hosting. This is not mandatory, but this is how you're going to get that biggest return on your investment, right? Is that they are coming to your live event for you to read the room, for you to heal the room, for you, however you see yourself using your gift in that capacity. That is what is converting right now into clients. And the why is because of what I talked about. It is real, it is raw, it is not ChatGPT, it is not AI generated, right? It allows you to showcase your gifts, your talents in that space, and then make the invitation for them to work with you from those events. That is the number one strategy. Now, if you or anybody is like, I'm not really totally ready to host that event, that's why those bonuses are there, because I'm going to teach you how to be ready and how to be ready to host that first event. So how the events work is, I think like tomorrow's June 20th. So everybody that wants to host an event for July needs to have their event submission form submitted so that we can start running ads for their July event. So there's a very clear, kind of action oriented, there's a pathway for you to follow, right? So there's clear calendar dates. I would say the two things that are going to be needed for you to understand to join would be, number one, how to access a Google Drive, right? Just how to be able to go into a Google Drive, open folders, and look in documents, because that's where like the copy is for you. If you want to do your own online marketing, you want to take I've created, for example, social media graphics for you, right? So if you want to go into there and you want to take those social media graphics to promote, fantastic. So you've got to be able to access a Google Drive, number one. And then the second thing that I strongly, strongly encourage, but is not mandatory yet, probably will be, is that you have a scheduler system. And I don't care what scheduling system it is, right? It's either, and you guys, these are, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this to be rude or harsh, but these are some basic things you should have in place if you have an online business, right? In my opinion, they really are. But a scheduler like Acuity or Calendly, like those are two of the most common. That makes it, and here's why, just hear me out, right? And these companies are not paying me, although they probably should, to be talking about them as much as I do. But how many of you are still going back and forth in email to schedule sessions with your clients, right? You would be shocked at how many psychics say yes to that. And it takes up so much your time, their time. You are losing opportunities, you're losing bookings, you're losing readings by having to do that. So on your booking page, on your one-page booking page, we put that link, boom, they are booking directly through you.
So I use Wix, and so then I could potentially figure out a way to connect my Wix with you.
Yeah. So if you have a website, we list your website on our booking page.
Okay.
100%. You have to remember, my goal in all of this is you are my client. I want to make you happy because then you're staying in the agency, right? So that is why those booking pages are divinely designed to drive business to you, whether it's to get somebody to book a session directly to you, go to your website. Those booking pages highlight you. Now, for those of you that don't have a website, that's even better. You don't have to. I take care of the hosting. There's no extra fees. There's no extra cost, nothing. Like it's $199 a month or you pay in full. That is it. Otherwise, I take care of all of the monthly hosting on everything, the Facebook ad cost. I'm taking on all of that, driving the business to you because then you stay.
Okay, I have one more question. Do you mind?
Yeah, no, girl, like literally, this is Q&A is I told you, it's my favorite. Any human design people in here? I'm a projector, and somebody once told me that because I'm a projector, like the cute like questions is like the invitation that you get as a projector. So I could do Q&A
Okay,
all
well,
day.
I'm an ego manifester, so
Mm, we're a good combo there.
yeah. So my question is, all right, and before we do this, so you'll help with pricing, right? Like, so I have a
Everything.
thought for a program, blah, 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 and, as well as individual readings as well as a program. I'm a little conflustered, and I'm assuming you will mentor or coach me
Yes.
through that offer
Yes.
as well as the price.
So in Offer Magic, right? Bonus number 2, you're going to get that. But
Okay.
here's what you get even more than that is there are 2 they're called psychic business boardroom calls every single month that you get to attend where it is live Q&A like it is here now, where you can say, okay, Amber, I'm really stuck on this. Just yesterday we had one, and that was the probably 3 of the people that came forward, 3 of the, I don't know, maybe 6 that came forward had questions about their offer. How do I price this? How do I sell this? What should I call it? What should be included, right? All of the components, like that's where a lot of people get stuck and they start spinning and spinning, you know? In fact, one of the girls, she came forward and she was like, I really want to sell this membership. And by the time, her maybe 10-minute session with me was done, we turned it from a membership to a 12-week program. And we took it from her only making $33 a person to making $1,200 for a 12-week experience. And she was like lit. Like that pricing is such a huge piece to this, right? Is most likely you are undercharging. Most likely. If you're like, why our industry is like that? Uh, but it is. We underprice and over deliver. And when you can find the right energetic match of the giving and the receiving, you get to also access your gift in a way you never have before. That like things come alive in you you didn't even know you could access. Their transformation is your transformation. It is both ways. And that you all have to remember, right? This isn't just about making people are always like, oh, it's just about making money. No, this is not about just making money. As a collective on this entire planet, what have we chosen to exchange in currency? Money, right? It's not like our industry is the only one that is asking that has a price tag on something. It drives me crazy. There's this old spiritual paradigm out there that just because you're a psychic and because you're gifted, you shouldn't charge for it. And that's it is wrong. It is wrong. So anyway, don't like I get pretty, I'm telling you,
What about that?
yeah, yeah. Does that
Okay.
help?
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Rusty,
Hi, Amber.
how are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm so good.
So I had as soon as you opened your mouth, I had a good feeling from you. So I'm like, I'm totally on board
Oh,
with everything
thank
you're
you.
saying. I'll
I
say
love
that.
that.
So I actually have had like several questions forming in my mind. So I'm just going to kind of spitball this, right?
We're
And
here for it.
you started to answer it already. So I haven't even like I've been reading for a few years, but everything I've done has been pretty much informal. Like I've done a few events, but I don't want to do psychic fairs. I haven't joined psychic networks. Like I'm kind of a reluctant tarot reader because as much as I love to do it and I know I have intuitive gifts, I don't fall for any of the trappings. So like I don't do
Yeah,
crystals. I don't do any
same.
of that stuff, right? None of it.
Yeah.
But my question would be is that if I'm to understand correctly what you're trying to do, so in other words, like let's say I join a network, right? The network, they market in order to get people to visit the website, but it's not about marketing you. It's about driving people to the website, and then people search and they hopefully find
Correct.
you, right? So what you're doing
And
is,
then you're paid per minute.
yes, that's the other part of it, right?
Yeah.
So the other part, so then from what I'm understanding, and I have no problem with the idea of reading a room. I'd prefer to do live events actually, but I'll do Zoom. But like, so in other words, what you're doing is you're promoting our particular events and like us specifically
Yep.
as people. Is that what you're
Yep.
saying?
That's
Okay.
exactly right. The focus is on the gifted advisors, right? When the focus is on you and your specialties and your gifts and your talents and your abilities, people want to feel they want to attend that. They want to learn more, right? Well, my gift is to be able to market that, is to be able to find the right copy, the right to be able to channel the right message to showcase you in that scenario. That is my gift. And I truly believe that is why I spent the first half of my career learning sales, marketing, advertising. And then all of a sudden, boom, my psychic gifts came online. And now because I really believe I am meant to showcase psychic. I really do. I'm not putting myself on there. I'm putting you guys on there, right? That's because I love it. I'm fired up for the ads. I'm fired up to we've already got almost 250 people on the Gifted Messages newsletter, and I haven't even promoted it like to everybody yet, right? Like I'm pumped now. And I'm not just marketing, and to start with, I'm not just doing ads, right? Like I've been in business for a long time. I have a decent TikTok following. I've got about 40,000 followers over there. I've got about 15,000 between Facebook, Instagram. I've got a large email list. Like I'm going to be promoting on those platforms as well. So in addition to those ads, like my main goal I mean this, is to keep you happy, right? Like I want you to stay at the agency with me. I want to help you grow. I want to see you expand. That is my role. That's what you are hiring me for, right? In this way. And the alternative, right, is that you go hire a coach, right? Like that could be go hire a business coach. You know what they're going to do? They're going to do what I've been doing for a long time too. They're going to tell you to start the website, post consistently to social media, do the podcast, all those things we talked about, right? But at the end of the day, there's nobody on the other side to like really truly see it, because organic marketing is the lowest it's ever been before in the history of social media. And that's not going to change. It's getting worse with all the AI stuff. So um that's why this is here. This is the need. And I don't want to just help anybody. I want to help psychics. And we all know why, because I get very right. So that's the why and kind of the how in that.
So then the only other question I would have is that, so let's say, so I started a podcast with a friend, and honestly, like we did it. The intention was to make it a form of marketing, right? But honestly,
Yep.
like I just love talking and I love doing a
Yep.
podcast with her. So we haven't posted any content yet. But let's say, like, I don't have a website, right? So
Yep.
let's say I really I don't want to like do any of the social media. Let's just say I really don't want to do any of it. So in other
You don't
words,
have
it's not even necessary. Like I could link it if I wanted to. Like if I had a podcast, we could link it via your network. But if
Yes.
I really didn't want to do any of that stuff, you would still be handling like the lion's
Yes.
share of it, in other words.
So if you don't have a website, you don't have any of those things, right? What you will get at the agency is that one-page booking site. So we would tailor your booking site to I'm going to strongly encourage you to be able to have people at least book appointments with you, right? Book either readings, schedule a discovery call, whatever you kind of want it, and a link then to your podcast,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that would go on that one-page booking site. Now,
And I do have Calendly already, so that's
perfect.
set
Perfect.
up
You're
and
ahead of the
ready.
game. You're ahead of the game. Now, in addition to that, let's say you're like, Amber, I actually kind of really want to just go out to TikTok, right? How can I share my podcast more on TikTok? Well, guess what? You come to the boardroom meetings and you ask those questions, and I'm going to give you in the moment coaching on how to do that, how to put it on TikTok, how to create like all the things, right? Because I'm obsessed with online marketing. It just is who I am. Number two is there is a vault. Now, I will say I don't have anything for podcasts currently, right? But this is the cool part. So I would say go to the content vault, Rusty, and see if there's any, pre-created content there for you to promote your podcast in either A, an email, or B, to social media. So if you haven't started growing an email list, that's okay. But let's say you go, Amber, there's nothing there on how to promote your podcast. There is a form right there. It says content creation submission form. You fill that out, it comes to me, and then I go create it, and it is there for you and for everybody to copy and paste. So you don't ever have to do online marketing. There's already, I don't know how many, maybe 100 email and social media templates to sell readings, Akashic record readings, human design readings, astrology readings, you name it. Like those are, you copy and paste it. That takes that over. How much time that saves you guys? I don't know. I should really probably talk about the content vault more than I do. To me, it's kind of like a cherry on top of a cherry once you get inside and you open it up and you're like, wow, there's a lot here. There's social media graphics. I have more social media graphics that are getting added all the time. So content's getting added in there for you all the time. And if you have, like I said, a specialty and it's not in there currently, I'll create it. I have no problem. I love it. Like one of my favorite things.
You're like a human AI, because like I like to have AI like generate things like cover letters, and then I tweak it a little bit. So like this sounds like the same thing, right?
Kind of
like where I can
yes. The difference is if you saw my office, you would think I'm a psychopath, but I'm really not. I handwrite everything, right? Like I go through probably a pack of gel pens a month, right? Like that's just the way my gift works. I handwrite everything. And then sometimes I'll read it to like ChatGPT or something, right? Like I'm not bashing those kinds of things, right? It's a great editor. I think of it as my editor more than anything. So I never am bashing it. I'm just saying what's happening out there. And I'm sure all of you that are in the online marketing space, Instagram, Facebook, everybody's content sounds the same right now. Everybody's. It's like I can read that was ChatGPT. Like it's awful, awful, awful. So I am really trying to stay away from that. Use my gift of a content channeler basically, and away we go, right? Like that to me is way more profound. And then it's specific too, right? Like it's not just generalized, but you come to me and you say, I want this podcast. Great. I'll work on that. I'll create that for you. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amber. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So I don't really do online stuff. I do more. I'm an entertainer. I'm more of an entertainer, I'd say.
Yep.
And at least that's when I go out. I say I do entertainment at events and parties and things like that. So is there a way you work with that? Also, one of my main avatars, or one of my main avatars are like, I don't know, intercompany, event planners and corporate event people. And so I know that it's kind of just because
probably not. When you're I guess my invitation to you though would be like, this would be the perfect opportunity to start having both, right? To not just doing in person, but to also be able to serve online. Now, is there copy/content that you could use from the vault to take back to, social media or however you're, getting bookings? Absolutely. Would you be able to benefit from the 2 live coaching calls a month, the networking, all of those things? Absolutely. But right now, I'm not promoting in-person events on the Gifted Network site because they are geography based, right? So if you have an in-person event that's geography based, where right now everybody's are online, so it's Unisum. So I'm not doing anything in person. I'm not running ads to anybody that's doing in-person events at this time.
Well, that's because when you said read the room, I thought you meant literally reading the room. I was a little confused by it. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was late too.
Yeah, I mean, it is though. Everything that we talked about at the beginning is absolutely for reading the room, for sure. Whether it's in person or online,
Okay.
whether you
Yeah.
want to call it a group or a gallery, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what, because I thought that's what we were talking about was like more of a, I'm reading the, I mean, I guess because I'm old, so when I think about that, I don't really think about reading
Um,
online. I think about
yeah.
being in a space with a bunch of people around and like doing a
Yeah. I mean,
what is a gallery reading, by the way? Because I do group readings, but what is a gallery reading? And can you do it as on stage, like on a
yeah.
stage?
Yeah. So to me, that would be a gallery reading, like in person, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's chairs, you've sold tickets. That to me is a gallery style reading.
Mm-hmm.
A group reading to me is maybe a little bit more intimate. Could be, somebody hires you to kind of do that, or you kind of facilitate that yourself, kind of like in an online space like this. So
Mm-hmm.
they're two, to me, just, there's a slight difference to it. To me, a gallery is larger. Um, Tickets
Mm-hmm.
are sold,
Mm-hmm.
promoted, kind of more of that type of experience.
And so they're more like a psychic reading on a stage,
Hmm.
like they used to do.
Yeah, like the John Edwards, the Teresa Caputo
I love.
style, right? Where it's, really working, reading a large gallery. To me, it's a larger gallery setting.
Okay, all right, that's cool. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Amber. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you. Great tips, great tools. I'm really enjoying this.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've 10 pages of notes. But I had a question. If you currently have a branded business, a website, etc., that you're really happy with, that's kind of where I am. How do you plug this gifted psychic network into the business to really supplement, draw more traffic your way and advance your business, but also
Great
keep
question.
that integrity and like that look and feel of the branding that you already have?
So number one is our booking pages are a universal branding. So very clean, crisp, professional. Nothing is individually branded. It is more of a soft element of the Gifted Network site, which is um, also not harsh branding by any means. It's very universal, clean, professional. We went with a brand with branding elements that are quite opposite of almost any other like psychic site, psychic network site you would find, right? Like you're probably going to find a lot of the like, uh, those like spiritual, like, what is it called? The
I'm with you. I'm following you. I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all kind of
Yeah.
look the same, right? I didn't
Yeah.
want the same, but of course, you want it to resonate that it is a psychic site. So, um, some of those same simple, clean, professional elements would just carry over onto your site. Now, your booking page would link to your website, so you can drive traffic back to your website if you want. But again, the primary kind of focus, yes, we want people on your booking page because we want them booking with you, but we also want them attending those events with you. That's where you're going to make the most impact. That's where you're going to have the most opportunity to invite people to work with you, to invite people over to your website, to give an offer from your stage, right? That is really the biggest intention behind the agency and behind the ad strategy is to fill your room, right? Like that's what's
So,
important.
okay, thank you. So if I'm understanding that correctly, on my website right now, I've got a calendar and events tab, if you will. So
Yes.
it could be building this out, but then that page drives you
Yes.
to the Gifted Psychic Network for these specific types of events,
Yes.
gallery events.
But let me ask you something. Are you running ads to your website right now?
No.
Okay. So, and I'm not saying this to like be like cause like shame or judgment. It's nothing like that, right? But if
Yeah.
you're not driving ad traffic, whether it's Google ad, Facebook ad, whatever, to your site, there's probably not a lot of people going to your site. If you look at your analytics on your website, even, right? Like you're probably going to see low numbers. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. Your site is probably beautiful, it's probably branded, right? But from a SEO, search engine optimization, right? People are most likely not finding you unless you are paying for them to find you. And it's the same thing
So
with,
basically referrals basically is which is
yeah,
slower, much slower. Yeah.
which referrals are, right? What I'm talking about here, like you want to have a diversified way that people can buy from you. Okay. So you want those referrals to continue. We don't want that to stop. The agency shouldn't stop that. It should complement that. Your website shouldn't stop that. It should complement that, right? Social media. Maybe you get lucky and you get, something from social media. You should not stop that, but the agencies should support and complement that. You want all of those things working together in a nice ecosystem for you, right? What happens a lot of the time is people get dependent on referrals. They get dependent on just one piece of a pie per se. And then if that starts to slow down, well, just I tumble for you, right? So
Yeah, it's not sustainable for long term, for sure. Yeah.
so the agency is what the piece that it's giving you that most likely most of you don't have right now is the paid advertising. And in my opinion, remember all of those slides that I showed you with those pictures of like all of those pictures of those like people trying to sell you the messaging, it's your marketing, it's your this. Guess where all those came from? Facebook ads.
Yeah.
They all came from Facebook ads, every single one of them, right? You go out to your news feed right now. I guarantee you are going to start scrolling and you're going to see somebody selling you something. They're going to sell you, it's your messaging, it's you need this, it's your nervous system. I've been seeing that one a lot lately. It's right? No. None of them are telling you it's because you're not running Facebook ads. And that is the truth. I have worked with some of the most gifted and talented psychics, and they go out and they try to promote themselves, and there's no organic marketing opportunity. It's minuscule. That is the true problem right now. And so I see that, I identified that. I love ads. Thought about starting my own ad agency a few times. This gives me a hybrid opportunity for you guys. It really does.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I have one other question, but I don't know I want to make sure that people have time to ask theirs as well. Do you want to?
And also, I think I'm gonna send out an email replay that'll have, if you want to join the agency, great. If you have like more questions and you want to hop in a private call, it'll have a link there to do that too. But I'm not going anywhere. So I'll go to Brenda and Juliana, and if there's still time, I'll come back to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Hi, Brenda.
Just real quick about me, I've been doing readings and that for 15 plus years. I also teach classes and all that, and because of where I live, those psychic services and all those are pretty much outlawed. We have small laws on the books. I get around that by my husband and I created a church. So we lump all of that under religious freedom, and they don't want to touch that at all.
Sure.
So I know a lot of workarounds. My question is
you shouldn't have to do the workaround, but I get it. That frustrates me.
It frustrates me too. There's a lot of pushback on the community here. There's a lot of people who are struggling to find venues, to find
where do you live?
I live in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, and it's just been a struggle for all that. Anyway, my question is you said you have for your agency, you can do content. Is that content just for advertising, or is it content that you can put on your Facebook or your social media?
Yeah, so the content that I create, let's say you want to sell a reading. Let's say you're a psychic and you just want to sell a reading, right? So I've created templates. They're templates that are basically copy and paste, and you can do those for email. If you have an email list and you want to send out an email to your list to buy a reading, book a reading, something along those lines. And or there are social media templates that you copy and paste over to social media for those readings. So there is tons of different topics, themes. Some of them are nurture only. They're not like not all call to action based, which means, book here. Most of them are book here. Most of them are click here to book a call with me, click here to book a reading with me, which I think is important to be able to say and do. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not even though you might be labeled as a nonprofit, you're not a nonprofit, right? So
Actually, we are a nonprofit. Well, the church is. I
the
am
church
not.
is, right. That's what I mean.
I do a separate business, but
Yeah,
it's lumped
yeah.
under. But anyway.
So all of that content in there is truly created with you in mind. If there's something extra that you want to do to promote yourself, in addition to what the agency does for you.
So the cut and copy and paste, we still have a little bit of control over like putting.
Oh, you
like,
can change it. You can
Okay.
it's highlighted. Let me see if I can get in there to. I'm not gonna. There's highlighted spaces, right, for you to change the title of the service. You with the copy and paste, you still can make changes, tweak, like, oh, I don't know that I love that word, but I would say this instead. Absolutely. But it gives you an entire framework instead of sitting there trying to come up with it on your own, which is where most people get stuck, right? It's trying to come up with it on their own. What should I say? Then they start overthinking, then they never do it. It really takes the majority of that out of that for you.
One other question I have, actually I have two, one can
Yeah.
be really quick. It said on the chat that the official network site is launching next week.
Yeah.
How do you project, or how soon do you project results to come in?
Yeah, somebody asked that earlier, the return on investment. So to be fair, it could be day one, right? Day one that it launches, there's going to be people coming to the site. Your booking page is up, it's ready. So it could be day one, right? I don't know how, I know how many people joined the newsletter so far. I know how vast my network is. And I know that Facebook ads start day one, right? So it is really, and it's also why I've priced it the way that it is for the amount of support that's included for the advertising that's happening. It could, like I said, it could be almost day one. Somebody comes and they click on your site and they book a session with you. It could be month two. I don't know. It is absolutely brand new. I'm being pretty transparent about it. But I also do believe that all of the other things that are included are going to give you a return on that investment as well. Is it going to be a guaranteed client every single month right away? No, I can't. I don't have a crystal ball, no pun intended, but you know what I mean?
There are no guarantees in anything.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm also, right, like you get to I haven't figured it out exactly, but I'm also, and anybody that's ever worked with me would tell you this, I'm also not going to get at the end of the 6 months with you and you go, I didn't have anything, and be like, sorry, you got to register for another 6 months. I just don't believe that's going to happen, number one. Number two, I can't operate that way, right? Like I just have a really strong sense that the events those are what sets this agency, that these are what sets the network apart, right? Absolutely. And just the amount of interest, man, I'll tell you what, I have an audience of about 40,000 on TikTok right now. And that entire audience is so hungry for readings. I mean, if I showed you, like let's just pull it up. I guarantee I haven't even looked for a while, right?
Actually,
like,
I'm on TikTok. I understand that whole marketing thing. So I get that.
Yeah,
they are
I mean,
starving.
they just, yeah, I mean, like right already, like just today, 160 new followers just since this morning. Like they just want it so bad, right? They want to know it's real. And so I'm taking my platform there and driving all of that to the Gifted Psychic Network. I don't want to sell those people individual readings. That's not what I want. I want them to come to the network. So that is I don't want to say like that's a guarantee, right? But like that's my audience is always growing there. I have companies starting to like send me branded products and stuff, like they want me to promote their stuff, which is great, right? But again, all of my roads, all of my social networks are leading to the network. It's not leading to me it's now leading to me doing those readings. I don't want to do those readings. Like I want you guys, I want to drive those to you. So that's one thing. And then the ads, I have a pretty robust strategy, like robust budget as well as the strategy, right? So I'm driving leads to not only the events, but to the gifted network or it's called gifted messages. And I can't remember if I showed that as like one of the slips or not, but so just keep it here, don't tell everybody. But so phase one is the newsletter, the gifted messages, right? And that's going to go out on a weekly basis and it's going to feature and highlight the gifted advisors. The other part of phase one are these events, driving Facebook ad traffic and Instagram traffic to get people to register for those events, for your events, right? So that's phase one. Phase two is the blog. So there's going to be the gifted blog. So if anybody in here enjoys blogging, likes blogging, you can write a blog. Guess what that's going to do? It's going to drive to your booking page, drive to your events, all of those extra things, right? If not, I love writing blogs. It'll be my blogs, but we'll maybe feature you. Maybe we'll do an interview, something like that, right? Focused on the gifted advisors. Phase three, nobody can tell anybody my secrets. Should have made you all sign an NDA. Phase three is the gifted shop. So if any of you have your own deck of cards, right? Like you make your own, cool candles, you have a digital course, any of those things, a journal, right? So the gifted shop, that's going to be there for you to feature those things. Again, traffic goes there, goes back to your booking page to buy. Phase four, final phase, and this will probably, I'm guessing January, I'm kind of envisioning January keeps coming into me on this when this goes live, is the Gifted Psychic podcast. And that's where I would host this podcast. You would come on, you would be my guest. There we go. So it is much more than just the events. I just want to do it in bite-sized pieces. I want to be able to, as a good marketer should, test, evaluate. This went well. Why did it go well? Was it because it was my gifted advisor and they read their room, right? Or was it, just maybe the audience was different, right? So that's important to know when you're running ads, how to do that. So yeah.
One more question. Have you ever worked with Discord?
Yes. I'm on Discord. I don't care for Discord. But yeah, I'm semi-familiar with it. What makes you ask?
I find because you can actually set up little meeting rooms in Discord and things like that to do videos or whatever. But I'm finding it there's a lot of younger folk who they don't like Facebook.
Yeah.
They don't not really into a lot of the social media, but they will communicate mostly through Discord.
I appreciate that. I mean, I may need to, I've been invited to a lot of Discord groups. It felt to me a lot more like the gaming side of things, so I might just need to revisit it, but yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. So I mean, I just put it out there in the universe.
No,
whatever.
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, so I appreciate that feedback.
Yeah. And thank you for your time and thank you for
this
the wonderful things that you gave us this time. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Juliana. How are you? It's so good to see you.
I just really wanted to say thank you for creating this and tell you, but also so that everyone can hear, like having been in your business program for that year, even though I wasn't ready to really hit the ground running, I had a personal thing with elder care and stuff like that, like to be able, just the few nuggets that you gave me on the times that I've touched in with you have landed and lit.
Thank
Do you know
you.
what I'm
saying? I
So
appreciate that.
I'm so ready. I signed up. So I'm so
That's awesome.
because now that I'm kind of through that phase
Girl,
of
you're making me cry.
now that I'm through that phase, I'm ready to take the visionary magic concept that you helped me name and that I've done and I know is powerful. And I'm ready to own the psychic aspect of it,
Yeah.
whatever that is. And I just can't wait to dig in to figure out which of my audiences. And I know that you're going to be able to, yeah, just help me package it and put it together. And like with Erin's technical ability, finally kind of get the thing going. So,
I
and
can not stress enough in this morning, like in this, I would not be here if it was not for Erin. I would not. I mean that with my entire heart for that woman. She is all like, don't even get me started. I really appreciate that feedback so much. I loved working with you our first round together. That was amazing. You know I talked with you quite passionately throughout this training and throughout this call about my belief in psychics and my belief in you and my belief in my clients. And there is something that is dramatically shifting right now in this in as a collective that we need to be seen. We need to be seen. We need to be known. We need to be sought after. We need, again, like, why are we not in the White House? Or if we are, why are we the secret weapon in the White House, right? Like, or if we're not in hospitals, like, why are we? And so to help have you come on board and to be able to showcase you, I'm so excited to do that again, Juliana. So I'm excited to work with you again. That's awesome.
thank you so much.
Yeah. I also did not pay her to say any of that. I didn't
I
even
know,
ask her
right?
to
That's why I raised my hand, because it's like, just
Thank you.
if somebody doesn't know the power of, and even like right now, if there's anything you know for me to be getting ready as I'm moving. I don't even know where I'm moving. I'm becoming like, I don't know I'm at that place of where do I go? What do I focus on? Like
Yeah.
everything is open for me, and I'm excited about that. And I'm excited for the support to hone it in so that I
I
can
got
do
you.
the first thing, the second thing, and then the 55th thing. I'm a manifesting generator. So it's always, like there's always going to be a million things.
Now, well, I'm a projector, so I'm gonna rein it in for you.
That's right.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Fairlight, hi. Oh, you're muted, honey.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm at work. It was a bit chaotic getting started, but thank you. I started crying when you're like, "I'm going to do that for you." My joke is when it comes to technology, I'm really good at hugging trees. So I work in a hippie shop. I'm the reader at a hippie shop. I'm in Asheville, so I had taken another marketing thing, and I was like presenting a palm reading class, both in person and online. And then we got hit with that hurricane, and I've just kind of been in a swirl since then, coming
Yeah.
back. So I rely mostly on foot traffic. We're still recovering,
Yeah.
tourism and all that. So I need to go more online. I've been trying to do videos and build my online presence for years, and I'm just haven't. So up until now,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
I've been missing. So I really need this. So I don't even know. I guess I have a million ideas. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD or whatever.
You mean you're gifted?
I'm not a projector or a No, I think I'm a manifester. I don't know. I need it. But so I have a lot of different ideas. I thank you for doing what you're doing. I don't even know what to ask because I have so many questions and so many ideas.
Can I ask you a question? Because this could be for
Yes.
you and for everybody. Because I think that can
Okay.
happen a lot, right? You start to swirl, like, I have so many ideas,
Right.
the overwhelm, where do I start? And so here's what I say, and this is what I say to my private clients. This is what I say in our work, in the boardroom call. I always say this: we start with sales. And what I mean by this is we start with you being completely honest about how you would truly like to work with your clients, in what capacity, right? And this is holding that space for you, right? For you to have dedicated time to say, if I'm being honest, I would really like to work with my clients more than just a palm reading. I would really like to work with them over a period of 6 months where I met with them once a month and we, talked about like what was going on. I gave them a reading and I gave them insight for what was coming for their, whatever it was, right? Like
Right.
when you are really, here's the thing that I know. Sales has a frequency, and the frequency of sales is your belief plus your passion for what you are selling.
Right.
And what that means is when you believe in it and when you are passionate about it, they are going to buy it. And it's not because you're pitching it or pushing it or hustling, right? It's because of how much your inner knowing has created what they need.
Right.
So that's why I say start with that, because then it's much easier, right? And most likely in the online space, if you've been out there, they teach the exact opposite. I reverse engineer everything. It's the Aquarius in me. I'm a rebel, right?
Nice.
So yes. And the Leo rising. So that's fun.
Oh,
so
nice.
So you take that offer, right? And when you're clear on that and you're passionate about that, you believe in that, then we go one step back and go, okay, but now who is this really for? Then we can get clear on your ideal audience, who she is, who he is, who they are, right? Then
Right.
we can create the way to bring them to you, which is what I do. I teach events, right? I teach online events or in person. You can do in-person events too. I'm advertising you in an online event, right?
Right.
Because then it makes all of those steps much easier, that by the time you get to say, this is how we can work together, she's so ready for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That,
We got to
like,
start with that.
there's so much.
Yeah.
Part of, and I guess part of, I'm also a professional singer. Oh, my thing. I'm a professional singer, and I lucked out getting a band that really embraces all of it. And so, I've got all these ideas. I want to create an experience for lots of people. I want to have an audience that has this musical magical experience, but then I do the other side. And I have had people, I have this one woman, she's like, I paid for this kind of coaching and this kind of coaching. She's like, if you ever do something, you're my number one person. I want to learn from you. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
I do. You know, and I mean, I think that can also happen. I'm sure everybody here is multi-talented, right? Multi-gifted, multi-talented, multi-passionate. And oftentimes you're told that is wrong, or you got to reel it in, or no, we just focus on one thing at a time. It doesn't mean that you don't get to do all of them. We just pick one, we start with one, we get that going, then we pick the second thing, then we get that going, right? It's just like, you got to get all the wheels going for you, but you got to just start with one wheel. What most spiritual entrepreneurs do that are like you, that have multi-talents and multi-passions, is they try to do all of them at once, and then no wheel goes at all. Or the wheels fall off, right? So we just want to start with one. And that's why I always say it makes it so much easier if you're clear, passionate about what you want to be selling. It makes it so much easier to drive people to that. So that's where we start.
Okay, thank you. And you're going to email us all that?
Yeah, I'm going to send out a copy of.
Come in and...
yeah. I'm going to send out a replay of this, so you can go back and watch it if you want. There'll be a couple invitations to join the agency, or if you really need some more one-on-one time to make sure it's a good right fit for you, you can book a call with me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a beautiful day.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks.
All right, Carolyn, let's bring it home here, sister.
Thank you so much. And thanks for staying on. So just a quick question. I might have missed this. And high level, if I did miss this piece and it's coming in further documentation, I can look at it there. But around the pricing, you were saying that you set your own price. You said it wasn't minute by minute, like where you join a network like that. So is it like a 30-minute or a 60-minute? Like, what do you
charge now? Nope. It goes right to however what do you charge for like a 1 hour reading? I don't know.
Yeah, I charge $180.
Okay. So it goes right to that. You get $180. Your pricing is set at your pricing. I don't determine anybody's pricing for them. Now, I'm probably going to encourage people to probably start raising their rates, would be my guess, right? Yeah. I am also really working intentionally to make sure that the copy on the site is, the people that are coming to this site are not looking for paid by minute readers. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to have that type of chaotic, hectic energy right? Nobody wants a client really like that. At least I don't. And most of the psychics I talk to, you don't want to be paid per minute. That's just what I
feels
kind
it kind
of
of feels
a
icky.
harsh title,
Yeah.
but I called it the other day. I was like, you're not a like a psychic prostitute, for crying out loud. Like, like that's how it feels when you're being paid per minute. It just feels gross to me. So I'm steering our audience. They're more of the people that are looking for, they've invested in coaching. They are invested in transformation. They are not just looking for a quick hit, right? They are looking for an experience. They're looking for true clarity, ongoing connection. It's my hope and goal that everybody sells packages, not just individual readings. We'll get there, but at first, if that's all you have, that's great too. But it's set at your rate. I'm not setting your rates for you.
Yeah, I'm doing those for individual readings, but I also support business as well. And so those are packages, just because it seems to take a couple sessions to get through that. So there's not
what I would say
any average pricing that's on there? Not really. Okay.
It has nothing to do with, it's really not anything to do with pricing. I'm not bringing people in based off of pricing either, right? So that's a big piece of it. I don't want in some way those people, that are again looking for that paid per minute. Shoot, what was I going to say? You said, oh, the business, right? So what you could also do, and what I would encourage everybody to do, is not just list, click here to book a reading, but maybe the better option is click here to book a call with me, right? So then you can have, I don't know if you do discovery calls or sales calls, clarity calls, like they're called all kinds of things, right? But maybe that's a better fit for you from your booking page, either both or one or the other, doesn't matter, where then you can get them on a call with you and then you can sell them beyond the reading again, kind of taking them on, especially if it's a business or, if you do entrepreneur coaching, something along those lines.
Okay.
Let's drive that.
Okay. Yeah. So you could just set just a call. If you have different services, I have business services, I have, mediumship, I have psychic. I mean, they're different to me.
Now
the
we
type
can
of
also
support.
just send those people to that page on your website, right? So again, those booking pages,
Okay.
I like some of the other sites, they make you even change your name. It's like ridiculous. Like they don't even let you use your real name. That is not the intention here at all. I want you to get as much business as possible from this. If you were getting a ton of business from the agency, are you going to leave? Heck no, you're not going to leave. You're going to be like,
Right.
you're locked in, right? That's why that's my goal, is to get you as much business as possible. And those booking pages are going to be a big aspect of it, those events, and then eventually kind of all the other things that I talked about.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. And thank you to everybody for being here. This was amazing. Like I said before, I'm going to send out a replay. It'll have this if you want to go back, you want to listen. Fantastic. If you have any questions, hit reply to the emails. I reply to all of those personally. And then there will be a couple of things. If you want to join us in the agency, would love to welcome you. There will also be a link if you want more information. You have a few questions one-on-one. You want to really make sure this is a good right fit for you. You can book a connection call with me too. So until I see you all next time, go be in your gift. Bye, guys.
Thank you.